it's been a while. Let's get back to talking about the most overhyped thing of all time. The iPhone 8 or edition, whatever you want to call it. Rumors have been spreading all over the place. Still, every day, we get something new and then it gets discredited and then credited again. It seems endless. But given that Apple is actually going into production with the new iPhone in April, I thought I'd just spread doubt in all your minds and give you my list of features that I am not that excited for and you may want to consider before you save up all your money and save for that next iPhone. Now, full disclaimer, I'm definitely probably gonna get it. Just for the hype alone, I need to review it for you guys. But I will say I'm probably going to enjoy it because it's made by Apple and the iPhone is my favorite product line they have. I use that the most. That is the center of my ecosystem, but that does not make it a perfect product. So, number one is the 2:1 aspect ratio. It's rumored that similar to the Galaxy S8 and the LG G6, that the iPhone X8 edition will have a display that goes edge to edge, and that includes removing some of the chin and forehead in favor of removing the home button, building in the fingerprint reader into the display, just so you could have a very bezel-free device. The problem when you change an aspect ratio, though, that a lot of people are forgetting with the LG G6 and the S8, is that this makes things incredibly hard for developers, who for years, ever since the iPhone 5 came out, have been optimizing their apps for a 16:9 display. And we all know that Google especially, and even Facebook, neglects updating or optimizing their apps for new aspect ratios when they are introduced. As in, Facebook is still not optimized on my iPad Pro, which has been around for nearly 2 years, and they still have not taken the time to upscale that app. So what I'm saying is, yes, you'll have an edge-to-edge display and it will be taller than before. A quite large majority of the apps that are on the iOS App Store right now are not going to support that 2:1 aspect ratio. So you're going to end up having a display that projects blackness on the top and bottom, resulting in a chin and forehead that are the same size as before. So much for all that display added. It also gets confusing for taking pictures and video. When you take videos now, are they still 16:9? I would really hope so, because that's what TVs are. That's how YouTube uploads video. The video you're watching right now is 16:9. And if so, that means when you're watching video you recorded on your phone, you're gonna have either black bezels on the side or something on the side, because 16:9 does not fit that 2:1. It's just gonna be a headache for a lot of people. Imagine now Snapchat, when you want to take a selfie, are gonna start sending snaps that are 2:1 instead of 16:9. Ugh, it just kind of throws things off for the sake of thinner bezels. Next thing is one of the cons about removing home buttons, taking screenshots. I feel like we do that quite a lot with our phones, and it is kind of easy to have an off-screen button, you know, as we do with our iPhones now, that we can feel and it's not part of the display, and press with the on and off switch to take a solid screenshot. And with an on-display home button, things get a little bit confusing. Double tapping it lightly activates reachability, double clicking it harder activates multitasking, clicking it a little bit harder activates Siri. So basically, if you haven't adopted to the iPhone 7's home button, you're gonna have a bit of a learning curve with the iPhone 8's. As well as the fact that a lot of apps already have kind of like buttons in the middle, like Snapchat, for instance, has that photo button. Now we're gonna have the photo button, which is a circle, and the home button right underneath it, which is also a circle. Things on screen are going to get a little bit confusing, which is why I really hope that Apple adopts a function area and not just extends the display. There will be a dedicated part of the phone where our chin is now that adapts to the app, but it is not considered part of the display. It is just an extension of the home button that is no longer physical. It is a touchscreen, but it is separate from what the visuals are on screen. The next thing I want to assure all of you is the media response will be hateful. No pun intended. The hype for the iPhone edition is so incredibly high right now. We're getting new rumors every week, and I can tell you, we're not going to get everything we're hearing. Not every rumor is true. It never is. And the fact that the hype is so high means that no matter what comes out in September, most people are going to be disappointed because they were waiting for something this long. They built it up in their head so big, you know, like everything Apple Pro with his concept video, like building in the FaceTime camera and the iris scanner into the earpiece. That's smart, right? Or you see the hypothetical people put a camera in the Apple logo for a much cleaner back of the phone. You keep reading about these cool hypotheticals when in reality that's pretty much confirmed not to happen. So when the thing comes out, you're like, oh, it's that concept? Yeah, I didn't really want that one. I can assure you though, the media response is going to bug me because everyone's gonna hate it and I'm gonna say, well, why'd you build it up so big in your mind? It's still a great phone, but it won't be as great as your imagination. Fourth thing I'm not too excited for is a glass back. I understand, we're putting glass on the back to support wireless charging. That one handy feature that a lot of people really don't care for. I mean, they want the option, but they don't want to actually do it. I am really not excited for having fingerprints on the back, people having their phone cracked on the back now, and not to mention, aluminum phones are cool. They don't attract fingerprints that much, they look really clean. Like the product red iPhone with that aluminum, I think looks amazing. Matte black looks really cool, but when I see someone with a jet black iPhone, ugh, I just see scratches waiting to happen, I see fingerprints galore, and ironically, when the iPhone 7 came out, jet black was supposed to be the limited edition one. Now it appears that matte black will be limited edition because with the iPhone 8, we're not going to be getting matte colors. Everything is going to be glossy, and personally, I don't like that. I like being able to differentiate between Galaxy phones and iPhones, and the aluminum back was a really easy way to do that. You could see, oh, iPhone, clean, metal, solid colors. Rose gold, gold, silver. Those look really cool in aluminum. With glass, they're kind of one color. They don't really have a sparkle to them. It's just kind of one solid sheet of glossy, and I don't really care for that. Not that excited for a glass back. Wireless charging is cool, but I'm gonna miss my iPhone 7's design. Speaking of wireless charging, that brings me to my next topic, even more expensive chargers. We already know how expensive USB-C to Lightning cables are. Yes, they'll be included with the edition, but if you want additional ones, those are like, what, $20, $30 sometimes? So you can imagine that if a basic cable like that is a lot of money, imagine how much the Apple official wireless charging pad will be. Apple, the people who charge $80 for an Apple Watch stand. It's literally a wireless charger that does this. Yeah, that's an $80 hinge you're paying for. So now imagine the iPhone. I'm gonna say at least $100, maybe more. If Apple doesn't mind charging $170 for a keyboard for your iPad, a wireless charger for your phone, I'm gonna guess, you can quote me back on this when it comes out, $129. That's my bet. I think that's gonna be it. My next worry with the next iPhone is unconformity. So we're waiting on that 10.5-inch iPad, which, as of we know right now, is going to have an aluminum back. And of course, our MacBooks are made of aluminum. Most of our Apple Watches are made of aluminum casings. Our iMac is aluminum. So now all of a sudden, we're not gonna have an aluminum iPhone, we're gonna have a glass one, which doesn't really match with everything else. So we're gonna have a space gray MacBook, Apple Watch, iPad, and then just solid black glass iPhone 8. It doesn't really fit in, and that's the other annoying thing with glass. Rose gold and gold won't really look the same. Or even product red. They'll just be kind of solid color. See, on the Google Pixel, the reason I hated that blue so much was because of the glass on the back. It's just one solid color blue. There's no gradient to it. I don't find that attractive. If the Pixel was just solid blue on the back with just aluminum, that would be kind of neat because it has that sparkle, doesn't fingerprint easily. It's a nice, comfortable finish, where with glass, doesn't fit in with the rest. And the different colors won't really fit in with the other Apple products that are made of aluminum. The other thing that won't conform is the lack of home button on the iPhone. We're expecting a function bar on here, but with the 10.5-inch iPad, which I still have no clue when it's coming out, I don't think we're getting a function bar on there. I'm still confused on what the home button situation is with it, but I can tell you that it's not really going to be the same. So before, we both had fingerprint readers on the bottom chin. Now I don't think that. We're going to have something else. I don't know what, but it'll be different. Things aren't going to look all the same anymore, which that bugs me. The next reason is something we will endlessly debate on until the day of release, the charging ports. I'm not saying it's going to be Lightning. I'm not saying it's going to be USB-C. My point is, no matter what it is, people are going to be mad. If they stick with Lightning, everyone's going to be mad that Apple is not adopting the last port onto their iPhone. They're really pushing USB-C on the MacBooks, but with iOS devices and their accessories, like AirPods, Apple Pencil, Apple TV remote, or even the Magic Keyboard and Magic Mouse, they're not really pushing USB-C. They're sticking with Lightning. So now we have two reversible ports that you have to have cables for, and that's going to frustrate people. So what if they did the alternative and adopted USB-C? Now all the filthy casuals are going to be mad that all their old Lightning cables do not work with their new phone. Everyone's going to freak out. Hey, I want Lightning. I have so many Lightning cords already. I have to buy all new chargers. You see, no matter what they do, everyone's going to be upset. There's no good outcome of this. Tying into my next point is what headphones will be included with the iPhone 8/edition. If it's Lightning earphones, that's going to be frustrating because it's already frustrating with the iPhone 7 because we don't have a Lightning port on our MacBook. So when you buy an iPhone 7, you get a pair of headphones that only work with your phone and an iPad, but they don't work when you're in an airplane, they don't work if you don't have an iPhone, and they don't even work on your Mac, so they're really only good for one device. Then you have to have a separate pair of headphones for your desktop or laptop. So what do they include with it? AirPods? If so, the price is going to be extremely high, and I guess I'll be okay with that, but I already have a pair of AirPods. Wouldn't it be easier to just send me the phone without headphones and lower the price, please? A lot of us are hopefully going to have our AirPods delivered by then, and now we'll have two sets of AirPods. I guess give one to a friend. But I somehow doubt that Apple will decide to include AirPods with a purchase of an iPhone because they're so expensive and so high in demand. How could they make enough AirPods to ship with each iPhone? I don't see that happening. So USB-C headphones? I guess now those don't work on your old phones. So no matter what, people are going to be upset. That's my bottom line. And lastly, they're stealing an idea from Samsung, the iris scanner. This, of course, is just a rumor, but if in fact it is true and they do decide to add an extra way of unlocking your phone with an iris scanner, I personally think that's going to be a wasted idea. Having used the iris scanner on the Note 7, I know that it's very awkward to unlock your phone that way. It's not intuitive. You have to open your eyes a little wider than usual and hold your phone a little closer. And why can we not just stick with Touch ID? You don't have to lift the phone and make it look at you to unlock it. You can just place your finger on it and it works. I find that so much more intuitive, and Apple's gonna put so much work into this iris scanner that people are gonna be like, this isn't really that great. I'm just gonna use the passcode or not have a passcode. Then you're paying for all that and not really getting anything out of it. I just don't think the iris scanner is a necessary thing. I just think they're trying to match the competition so Samsung will shut up about it. So those are my top things I'm not looking forward to in the next iPhone. Still looking forward to a lot. I think it'll be a good phone. It's just hype for it is far too high. And I'm sorry to say I might enjoy my iPhone 7 a bit more. Who knows? Maybe the 7S won't be too bad. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.